Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the cool new Kaiser. Also, I got the scythes in from Tier 1. We're going to take a look at those. And then, what do you expect for the money? That's the big question tonight. What do you expect for the money? Just going to Home Depot, or no, it was Lowe's, and seeing some of the very inexpensive knives they have on offer there. Folders. I've even bought some and shown them here. That have ball bearings for 20 bucks, and all sorts of other premium sort of features. So it just gets me to wonder, what should we expect for the money now, especially when you see some things that don't quite ring true, and we'll talk about those. The budget guy FKT has already chimed in, and I like the way he has this broken down. 20 bucks a finished knife with a workable edge, 50 bucks a full finished knife, basic materials, 100 bucks a fully flushed knife, good materials, 200 bucks a fully flushed knife with premium materials. And give or take, I can agree with that, but I like his tiered system. So we'll be talking about that. I want to find out what you guys have to think, what you have to say. Hey, Dave, we have this old sword with us tonight. He says, hey, Bob, Jim, and Knife Junkies. How's it going? It's great to have you here, Dave, as always. And another David here, 9198 David. Good to see you here, sir. Hey, Budget, and this old sword. Evening, everyone. Well, evening to you, sir. We're going to be asking the important questions tonight after I sip some delicious Peruvian coffee. Caleb, good to have you here. Howdy, howdy, he says. Caleb Townsend is with us. Blade Ogre, Chris, how you doing, sir? Got a closer look at that recurve this week. Love that. We have Ezekiel. Excuse me. We have Ezekiel here with us, and Jonathan, of course. Hey, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good from the guys at Shredder Knife Reviews. Good to have you here. Can't wait to get that new off-grid, guys. It's the spear point, the large spear point. I can't remember what it's called, but it looks wicked cool. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been carrying a lot of off-grid as I'm wont to do, and this right here this has won my heart. It took about 4 seconds, and man, I fell in love with this thing. And here's what I'm deciding. I need to sell some knives. I have some projects in the works that will require fundage, and so I'm going to sell some off. And I have some really nice small premium knives, not too many of them, but a few, and I'm going to let them go, or at least one. Not this one though. And because I want to get the new Colin Maison Pierre designed, CM designed Best Tech knife, the Tonic. That is so cool with the back lock and the beautiful Warncliffe blade. And yes, I said backlock with a bolster. And he did something innovative with the backlock, adding a ceramic bearing to the top of the lock bar, so that the portion that rubs against the curved part of the tang is drastically reduced to just the point of that ceramic bearing. So sort of taking some of the lessons learned from from Chris Reeve as his knives evolved, and putting them into a backlock format. I love it, but it's not an inexpensive knife, and I would like to get that. And I would also like to fund some projects, as I said. So a lot of there are a number of smaller blades that are going to be going, and a couple of premium ones. Mark Herrera, good to have you here. Hello, Bob, Jim, and y'all, he says. So Mark must live down here in the deep South in Northern Virginia like me. Just kidding. This isn't the deep South, but I always tell my wife it is because I'm a Yank. Pixel Jedi, howdy, gents. And Bobby D, he says, well, am I not a gent, sir? I'm just kidding. Good to have you here with us, as always. Ket McNessart, good evening, Bob, Jim, Junkies. Good to have you here. Hey, I just want to know, Ketmuk and others, who is stropping, who is sharpening right now? I find it interesting that the Stinger, yes, sir. The Stinger, yes, sirs. I think that's the name. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Can't wait to check that out. But I've had a few people comment along the way that they like to strap their knives and have this on in the background while they're doing stuff. So I think that's cool, especially if it's knife maintenance chores. But hey, washing dishes, whatever it is, I'll take it. D-Bass, good to have you here with us. Haven't seen you in a little while. Good evening, Bob and everyone. It's been a very long time. Had a personal thing going on. Well, I hope it's resolved. But I'm glad to be back. I've missed the Knife Junkie and this live. Well, it's so good to have you back, D-Bass. I hope your personal things have resolved completely and swiftly and with the best resolution. And it's good to have you back. Weston Probst. Hey, good to have you here with us, Weston. That's what I'd be calling you if I were French. Weston Probst. Okay, pocket check. Oh, yep. Sorry, sometimes graphics come up and I want to read them. Yes, it's true. You can listen to this afterward. But let's talk about what we were carrying today. Now, actually, one of the things I was carrying today, I forgot to tell Jim, is also part of the state of the collection. So we'll be taking a closer look at it probably later on. But had some good ones on me today. I am thirsty and also tired. So lots of coffee for me tonight. So I got the Big Lighter XL last week. I showed it off. I got this from White Mountain Knives, and this in the red linen micarta. It is starting to patina a little bit. I've been carrying this thing a lot, and I must admit I'm a sucker for this fidget. It is such a great button lock, and just super fidgety, but also just a great blade. That's a 4-inch blade, and it's almost a spear point. It is beautiful to look at and amazing to cut with. This is just such a great blade. Just, you know, and like I mentioned on Wednesday yesterday, I've had a lot of cardboard in my life the past week as we have been getting 2 bathrooms redone, and this knife has been getting some use, and that's a great blade. And it's nice to have a big handle that you can really grab onto. I have medium-sized hands, and that gives me a lot of room. And that blade is mostly straight and then has belly where it's needed and an excellent point. So when you're cutting cardboard, it just, we'll say that this is the cardboard here. It just cuts really nicely through it because you have that long straight and a very comfortable handle. I'm not always a big fan of proud liners. These are crowned nicely, but they sit proud of the micarta. But in this case, it makes it feel more contoured and more rounded out, and sort of adds to the minimal chamfering on the micarta to make it a little bit more comfortable. So I don't mind it. I have not been in severe, well, I guess I've been in somewhat severe heat with this, and it hasn't felt hot on my hands. It hasn't sat out in the sun and I picked it up, but it's been in my pocket for 100 degree weather. But I haven't experienced extreme cold. So I don't know if the liners sitting proud like that are going to conduct heat or cold into my hand as we move forward. But I really like this knife, and I've been carrying it quite a bit. And today was one of those days. Next up, this is a knife that is going to be, we're going to take a look at this later too. Well, actually, maybe we just take a look at it now. This is brand new to me and brand new to the world. It is the Jack Wolf Knives release for August 2022, and it's called the Canine Jack, and it is a beautiful serpentine or dog leg jack. That's why, well, it's a dog leg jack. That's why he calls it the Canine. Obviously. At this point, we know what to expect in terms of execution and fit and finish on the Jack Wolf knives, and that is exquisite and premium. Exquisite build, exquisite design, premium materials. This is, again, M390 blade steel. It's got this beautiful full-bellied spear point. I like these kind of spear points where they widen out. It's not the edge and the spine in a parallel configuration. It widens out towards the tip. I love that thing. The budget guy FKT says that looks amazing. I agree. I think it looks amazing. Scott N, lovely to have you here with us, Scott. Good to have you. We're taking a look at our carry today, and I had this Jack Wolf Knives Canine. Will be good to have you here, Bob, Jim, and everyone else. He says this dog leg handle is crazy ergonomic. I mean, everything else that I've had so far has been really great. I know I specifically mentioned the ergonomics on the gunstock jack because with a single bladed gunstock jack, you can really feel the ergonomics in that step. and it feels great in your hand. I do have a gunstock jack, the number 44 from Great Eastern Cutlery, with 2 blades, and that pen blade obscures the contours of the handle, so you can't really get. You're losing the inherent ergonomics of the gunstock pattern. So that one had really great ergonomics. All the rest of the Jack Wolf knives have really great ergonomics, but they're on a more neutral tip, as we used to say in the 90s. This has a less neutral configuration here with that dog leg, and he has taken the dog leg and amplified it a little bit so that it nestles in that portion. You look at where the thumb muscle goes, right in that little divot. It just feels amazing in hand. And this is one of those knives that I don't own at all. I mean, I have no other dog leg pattern like this. So this has been a revelation. I have to say, looking at the handle, I was like, oh, what's this going to be like? And then I got it in hand. I'm like, oh, yes, of course. And that made me realize that my sense of ergonomics is pretty developed in terms of, okay, we all look at knives and we all hold knives and handle them and use them, and we can look at a knife and tell how it's going to feel in hand, pretty much. I would bet. Q Ball 981, good to have you here with us. Evening, folks, he says. Well, evening to you, sir. But this made me realize that I am not as up to snuff on being able to look at a traditional knife and say, oh, that must be comfy in hand. And this thing is incredible. So I love it. And this is the carbon fiber release of this month. There have been a lot of colorful ones. I got the blue carbon fiber on the gunstock jack, or on the sharpshooter jack, and then got carbon fiber on this one too. It's a beautiful black twill. And you don't hear me say too much that black carbon fiber is beautiful unless it's marbled or some sort of cool variation. And that twill is really nice. What I sort of bristle at is this sort of basket weave. Okay, I'm done. Okay, the budget guy FKT says, after finding out the ergos on the Cold Steel Cold 4 are comfortable, agreed. Oh, I think so too. Finding out the ergos on the Cold Steel Code 4 are comfortable, agreed. Yeah, it is. It is. You look at it, you think it might be too thin, but it makes out with the broadness. See, if the handle is too thin, but you have a wide handle, it fits perfectly. So I had those. 2 others. One it's been top of mind recently, and that is this. The great sheath. I always have to show it with the sheath. Discreet Carry Concepts Clip. I can never get that name right. But this is the EDC Tonto by Hogtooth Knives. Excuse me. Hogtooth Knives. I've shown this a million times. This is made by the guy who made my awesome Loveless fighter there. But this is the kind of knife he can sort of mass produce quickly. It's 154 cm and it's hollow ground. It's super sharp, very stout, except very thin behind the edge. I tell the story about this knife. I carry it in the 3 o'clock position in the waistband, like I do fixed blades. And we were going to have a little family fire pit night. I go out. I bring a smattering of folders that I know have really thin blades, and I was going to see which one did the best with feather sticking. I had my ideas, and none of them performed well, and some of them I thought might actually, I was worried about them a little bit at the pivot, because I was kind of trying to horse them through some pretty dry wood. So I pulled this out, used it, 154 cm, and this thing was amazing. I always thought of this up until then as a self-defense knife, but this is an awesome utility knife, and that's what I've used it for ever since. Of course, I would, that Hogtooth is just beautiful, says Mesa Wolf. Mesa Wolf, good to have you here. Mesa Wolf 22, good to have you here. Good to meet you. Which one, this one or this one? I think they're both beautiful. The reason I mentioned that this one is at top of mind, I'll follow up with in a second, but yeah, this is the one that he made me, and I'm pretty sure my mom is not watching, so I can say for their anniversary. Oh, just on the off chance. I'll mention it later at the end of August, but I guess you can probably figure it out. And it's not a fighting knife. The budget guy FKT says that is a very nice fixed blade. Why, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. You know, I do celebrate diversity when it comes to knives. I love all of them. I have these ethnographic weapons back here. I love them all. The folders, the brand new ones, the cheap Chinese ones, the expensive American ones, the fixed blades, the old fixed blades, the new ones, ones that I buy from people I discover online, like Hogtooth Knives. Love it. But this knife has been top of mind because I'm going to commission a small run of these from my good friend Matt Chase at Hogtooth Knives. It's going to be the same setup, same length, same size, same great sheath, same great handle and ergonomics, except it's going to be a blade of my design. We're going to do that, make a small batch of them, and sell them, see who wants them, and if they're a success, we'll make more and change up the blade shape. But it'll have Matt's maker's mark on one side and the Knife Junkie logo on the other side with the serial number. It'll be fun and it'll be cool. And actually, that is the topic of my first new newsletter. I have had a newsletter with fits and starts that Jim has always pushed me to keep up with, and I've always been very lazy about it, but I'm starting a new little series, and I'm going to sort of document this process of working with Matt to have these knives made. So it should be really cool. He's going to have a prototype for me as soon as we decide on the blade shape. We're bandying back some ideas, and I really look forward to it. And I hope people out there are interested. Be a small batch, so very limited and very, very exclusive, and very sharp and pointy. And this first one will be a Bowie, but that's as much as I'm going to say. Brandon G, looking forward to the collab, he says. Well, thank you, sir. I will be blabbing about it endlessly. So you have that to look forward to. Krav Maglock finally made it, he says. Good to have you here, sir. We have Krav in the house. I had one more knife with me today. Q-Ball 981 says, I use Mike Emler's Sea Snake as a neck knife. So versatile. I love the Sea Snake. I think it is such a great knife. And I don't know why I don't have one. I had one, I gave one away, and I haven't rebought it. Sometimes it's hard for me to rebuy a knife, but it's $40 and it is so outstanding, thin, sharp, beautiful, ergonomically awesome. And light enough to carry around the neck without sweating it. Mesa Wolf says, good, looking forward to that release. Oh, cool. Well, thank you. All right, so that's cool. I have two people who think that's cool. I'd be interested in something like that. Bob says will be. Well, that's good. That makes me feel great. And it would be reasonably priced as well. So this is another thing to think about. Well, it depends on what you think reasonable is, but in any case, interested but poor. So yeah, I hear you, man. But here's the good news. You're not going to be poor forever, and we are going to be doing this for a long time, I think. So that's the good news. Just remember, as you live, you just get you just accumulate more and more. Even you just got to watch your shekels. Except when it comes to buying knives by DeMarco Knife and Tool. No, I'm just kidding. D-Bass says, sounds amazing. Can't wait. Awesome. Hey guys, this is already putting wind in my sails. So I'm gonna keep going. Whoa, Bob, that hat. Hey, Bob and Jim. Oh, Bob with a hat. Yeah. Yep, wearing a hat. It's a disaster under there tonight. This isn't just a hat though. That's a Stroop Knives hat, and the knife. Here, let's see. Let me show you this. See that? It's the same knife. Christmas present from my wife, and she threw in the hat. Also had my logo engraved on the blade. But anyway, KC, it's so good to have you here, and such great news. The Pinion, if you haven't heard, is funded. The order is in, and also I think you ordered some extra, so he's going to have some stock to sell for people who didn't pre-order. But I am psyched that I pre-ordered because I think I got a good deal, and B, helped maybe push it over and get it. And I had the good fortune of having the knife here for a couple of weeks, and kind of I carried it a couple of times, and I just kind of flipped it a lot and really kind of bonded with it, and thought, geez, I would bond even more with the black micarta one. So I went in on the pre-order. So congratulations, Casey. That is awesome news and great to see. Awesome news both for you and for me. This old sword says, I'll buy 2, Bob. Oh, I like it. I'm putting out, he's going to have, he'll have models number 1 and 2. No, but it will be cool to serialize them and see. And, maybe our idea was to have a very small first run. So we'll do that and then see what feels good, move forward. But, it's exciting because I want one myself. I actually, ever since I had that knife, I've been wanting it in other blades because it's such a great setup. Yep, stock will be available at a slightly higher price. The pre-order is still open at the lower price. Thanks, Bob. Oh, that's good news. That's great news. What's also great news is that it's good to go. It's happening. So we're proud of you, man. No, I mean, you know what I mean? It's great to see one of our own succeed, or lots of our own. Lots of people are living their dream and designing their knives and having them made and getting them sold and getting them into pockets. And the cool thing about that is it's something hard that you can do, and when you actually accomplish it, like KC has, you have this feeling of accomplishment, and then you're like, yeah, I can do this, which means I can do other things. And also it's great for your kids to see that, and also to see, well, I'm sure I know Casey holds down a job too and is responsible in that way and kicks ass over there too. But I don't know, to show the world and show your kids and that you can do that too. You can follow your love and have good things come out of it. It's great. Sorry, I'm going off on that, but Casey, it's great, man. I feel pretty blown away and grateful. That's awesome. As you should. To you, sir. Still bummed about the Mach 51 though. Hey, that was just one iteration. That was one. I'm not going to speak for KC, but doesn't mean the design has gone down the memory hole. Who knows? It could be resurrected. I don't know. I'm just saying, and I'm certainly not speaking for KC. I have no idea if he ever has plans to resurrect that. But make no assumptions, because it's upward from here. It is indeed awesome that you design, KC. Oh, what you design. I got you. It is indeed awesome what you design, KC, says the budget guy, FKT. That's a sweet compliment. The Shredder Knife review says, can't wait, KC. You guys had it, right? Yeah, my kids are proud. I love it. That's awesome, man. I'm sure you still embarrass them with jokes, though. Maybe. Excuse me. Sorry, guys and gals. But sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. But that is great news, and I'm very psyched. One more thing I have to show before I'm done telling you the knives I carried around, and this was my ESK today, and what an incredibly smooth knife this is. It's the Vero Synapse, as you know, the standard side with the size with the just north of the 3 1/4 inch blade. Perfect blade to handle ratio on this knife. Devo Stout is another. Great to see folks like KC and Kevin chasing and capturing their dreams, says Cue Ball. Agreed. Another great knife too, and they've got a lot of good stuff coming out. So yeah, this was, man, this was one that today I numerously I checked for blade play, 0, locked like a vault, and then I tapped this the pivot to see if it was loose, because the action on this, it came to me. No, it didn't come to me. I bought it from Joseph Vero at Blade Show 2021, and it was ridiculously smooth at the time, but it has gotten almost dangerously smooth at this point. So I was checking to see if it was loose. It isn't. But what a beautiful design and a great knife. And oddly enough, I had the large one in hand from Hero Sticks when he loaned it to me to check out, the one with the red handle. You may remember it. That was the Synapse XL, and I ordinarily go for XL knives, but I actually think I appreciate this one a little better. However, if I had the XL, it would probably get carried more. Anyway, these were the ones I had on me today. What were you guys carrying? Let me know. I am interested indeed. Now, does anyone carry a fixed blade out there? Did anyone have a fixed blade along with their folder? Did anyone have a slip joint along with their folder? I know several people watching right now have one of these. KC has one of these, I believe. Such a great knife. Is anyone carrying slip joints right now? I also have I have my Case Sodbuster Jr. Yellow Del Rin with the CV steel that I've been carrying a lot recently, sitting over there. It's great to just throw in the pocket, bring it with you. Yeah, let me know what you're carrying. Caleb Townsend said, today I carried the HEA Designs Wingman, the Spyderco Para 3, and a custom Swiss Army knife. A custom Swiss Army knife of your own making, Caleb? I would say so. This Old Sword Blade review says, today I'm toting a Tucson TS306. That's a Mazwan Mokhtar design in M390. Drop Gavco Thresher with the pelagic tie bronze handle and the Bastinelli Shadow Flipper in LMAX. What is the Shadow Flipper in LMAX and tie carbon fiber handle? I don't know that one. I don't think. Bastinelli Shadow Flipper. So Dave has gone whole hog on Bastinelli, and I certainly am casting no aspersions. I too could go all the way deep in those knives. They're so beautiful. Tactical art indeed. Caleb Townsend says, oops, I'm sorry. Anyone hitting up Highway 127 yard sale this weekend? I'm always hoping to run across the largest bag knives collectors selling off their collection. Wait. Caleb, you're in Texas, right? What is the Highway 127 yard sale? This sounds awesome. And I know, I have a feeling you're joking about the bag knives collector thing, but you never know. Sometimes weird things like that happen. Actually, Jim showed me a video once that I've mentioned a couple of times of a woman whose husband died, and he had a collection of Randalls, like hundreds of Randall made knives. Worth tens and tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars, and some some dude bought it from her. She probably just wanted to get rid of them. Bought them from her for a song. So you never know when you might come across the highway, a bag collector selling his work at the, what is this? Here we go. Thank you, Jim. The world's largest yard sale, 35th anniversary. Oh, dude, this sounds awesome. Where is that? Is that in? Oh. Okay. Well, are you going to be there? I'm curious. Are you going to go to that, Caleb? I'm curious. That looks cool. Could be awesome. Or you could go and only see some like used clothes, right? And some cheap. What did they used to have at the? They used to have the cheap socks and anyway. Mike Flamian says, Liang Ma Warrior 2, Randall 14, very nice. Spyderco Arc Victorinox Cadet. So the Liang Ma Warrior, that is a Tonto, right? That's like a really beautiful Tonto flipper, if I'm remembering correctly. Very nice carry. And as always, he's got the number 14 Randall made, number 14 attack. Mark Herrera says, Artisan Wren in D2 and Manly Comrade in S90V. Love that, Manly Conrad. And the Artisan Wren. I don't know the Artisan Wren. N Riggy knives. Oh, that's a cool looking knife. Jersey and the Twill Jack. You got the Twill too. Jack Wolf Knives, Canine. The N Riggy knife. I don't know, but it's called Jersey, and the guy's last name is Riggy. So I think he might be one of my Italian brothers designing a knife. I love it. But the knife itself was beautiful. I saw that on your channel. Very nice looking knife. 9198 David said, and I believe that's a prototype, right? He just kind of designed that. Casey. 9198 David said, carried my XM24 with new smooth black micarta scale. Now it's perfect. He's got the Spyderco Sinkovich Drunken and the Off-Grid Knives Scorpion. Jeez, man, you're balling today. I love it. I want to talk about this. Is yours the Bowie? Let me know. This is the I think the first and only generation before the current XM18 is pretty old of the Bowie, and it's got I got this micarta scale for it. Same thing, smooth, feels great in hand. This thing is awesome. What a beautiful knife. But let me know what blade you have on your XM. Brandon G, good to have you here, Brandon. Today carried the XM18 Bowie. Look at this. Coincidences are starting to pop up in my life everywhere. Just little tiny minor ones like that. Then again, this is a knife show, and we have a bunch of class acts here. So maybe not such a coincidence. XM18 Bowie and a Bussy skeleton key fixed blade. Man, like I said, classy people. Bussy. I do not have a Bussy knife, and I think that would be cool to have. I have a healthy fixed blade collection. I think it could benefit from a Bussy knife. I do like that War. What is it called? The War. It's not the War Princess. I don't think it's the one that Daryl carries on or used to carry before he got his cheesy double knives on Walking Dead. Mesa Wolf 22 says, I've got the Damn Designs Banshee. Very nice. Stonewashed titanium. Fantastic knife. Design and drop shut. Just beautiful. And now Mesa Wolf, this is the one that has, that's a liner lock, right? Like a titanium liner lock. Or not like, but is a titanium liner lock, right? I love titanium liner locks. Ever since I got this beauty in hand and just discovered how incredibly smooth it is and how not having to deal with the lock bar is good for me on certain knives of certain design. Certainly on this one, Peter Carey design Turbo made by Monterey Bay Knives. Such a beautiful knife. This one enhanced gorgeously by Lindy Lou and Richie of the Knife Modders. They did such an awesome job, especially on that high voltage green. Oh, so cool. And that awesome clip. Anyway, let me know. That's long for me asking, is your knife a titanium liner lock? Cue Ball today carried his Shark's Foot 80 20.5 with custom custom putter milled titanium scales by Naftastic, linerless. Oh yeah, I saw these. The custom titanium backspacer just arrived yesterday. Rodney killed it. Cool. I can't wait to see that. I saw something about the linerless, these linerless scales from Naftastic, and I don't remember where I saw that now. Maybe someone got a video or made a video. Will B says, I had my Grimsmo Norseman Nimble X BRS Evolve Kopesh. Oh, that's cool. And Kaiser Frag Mini Sheepdog. I said, and that was comma. Civivi Chevalier and the Olight Baton 3. Very nice carry, Will. Man, let's see. Yeah, that's like a semester. That's like 3 credits of college right there. But no, I'm just kidding. That's a very nice carry. And man, that Grimsmo Norseman, I feel like that knife has had a renaissance recently. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about it a lot recently. And it just, I don't know. It's a cool story. I've reached out to them. I haven't heard back, but I should try again. I'd love to talk to the Grimsmos or John about their whole story. It's very interesting how they started, and I love that they keep doing this one knife, and they have others, but that one knife is their bread and butter, and just they're perfecting it like Chris Reeve kind of style. Krav says, T-Kel Night Stalker is my fixed blade of choice. Now, T-Kel, which one is the Night Stalker? Is that the ringed one that that you kind of see a lot? That is cool. I like the one that Dave had or has. I'm not sure if he has this or if this was a loaner from the company, but the triple edged Warncliffe. I mean, you know, That's what I have to go with. It's triple edged, and come on, triple edged. That's good because 3 edges. Night Stalker, there it is. Yeah, that's a pretty knife, I gotta say. And it also looks like he has the ring right. It's not just sticking on top of the handle where your forefinger has to unnaturally angle to reach it. The budget guy FKT says Finch Chernobyl ant. That's it. I'm fasting and not doing anything to. Oh, you're fasting. Okay. Chernobyl ant. That's a good light knife to carry while you're fasting. I fasted the other day accidentally. I went 22 hours without eating, and I was like, I should just go the other 2. I could, but at that point, I was like, no, I should just eat. It was unintentional, and it was not like I forgot to eat because, as a comedian once said when I was a kid, it takes a certain kind of stupid to forget to eat. It was not opportune until very late, and then I just didn't want to eat very late. So I ended up going 22 hours, and at the end, I felt like I was floating. I felt righteous. I felt lean, mean, fighting machine with clear eyes and clear thoughts. And then I'm like, I need a PB&J. Caleb says, I'm in East Tennessee, Highway 127. Oh, is a multi-state yard sale. How cool. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Byron Kennedy, hey, Bob, Jim, Junkies. Well, good to have you here, Byron, as always. Better late, they say. Got a Kaiser Assassin and American Buffalo knife and tool Stockman. Like I always say, I'm a huge fan of the Stockman. I do have to check out the American Buffalo knife and tool version of it. But I love the 3-bladed Stockman, especially when one of the blades is something weird, like an awl, or unexpected, I should say. Blade Ogre. Oh, geez. We have a storm here we keep having these electrical dips. So I hope I don't get knocked off. Blade Ogre says, carried the Spyderco Smock, Arc Form Slimfoot, Manly Wasp slip joint. Oh, that's cool. In S90V. Hinderer XM18 recurve, my favorite. The ASK Kvist variant with clip delete. Ooh, that sounds cool. So I suppose you have a nice slip for it. The LT Wright Little Muck, which is a Nest Muck, I assume, in 3V, and the GEC 29 Stockyard Whittler. I love that. So actually, that 29 Stockyard Whittler is the perfect example of a variation of the Stockman that I like. I believe that 29 Stockyard Whittler does have an awl, if I'm not incorrect, and I love that. Though I will take a mini spay blade or, whatever else you're going to give me. A coping blade. That'd be nice. D-Bass says, I was carrying my XM18. The best part about it was this past Saturday, I installed a Timascus scale for it. Oof. Class. I wish I could post a picture on here because it's absolutely stunning. If you can, Jim will chime in and let us know how. That sounds stunning. Timascus scale. Wow. That's kind of interesting. Taking the XM18, which is oh yeah, right here. Just go to theknifejunkie.com/join and come on here. Show it to us. No pressure. You can come and go as you please, but just show us the knife. Let's see what it looks like. But I was going to say XM18, like classic hard use knife with Timascus scales. I like that because it's unexpected. You know what I mean? You expect a more working material than Timascus. But it's going to patina nicely. Doesn't Timascus patina nicely? And then you just kind of clean it back up with Windex. I don't know much about the material. But someday, Caleb Townsend says, I do actually go looking for Loveless and Randall knives. Usually leave with a good amount of machining tools, though. Oh, that's cool. Hey, yeah, that'd be. I highly encourage you to get. I'm sorry, I forgot my tissues tonight. I highly encourage you to get a Randall knife while you're there. If you see one, I mean, why not? Why not? Because they're $500. Oh, Ket McNessart says, today I'm carrying my Buck 303 slip joint. I do like Buck slip joints. I have a couple over here. A LT Wright knife, Bandit, a jigged titanium QSP penguin, and an Eldris. That QSP penguin is with the jigged titanium. That's a traditional knives.com exclusive, and it looks so cool. It's got M390 blade steel titanium on both sides. It's a frame lock, and it's jigged like an old school bone handle, and it's got amazing bearing action and all this. This is your absolutely standard version with D2 and washers, and it is smooth as silk. It's a great cutter, great knife. This is what my wife was using during all this cardboard time, and she really likes it. So I always love it. I don't know why, but well, I don't know. I guess it validates my hobby, but I love it when I loan a knife to my wife and she's like, I really like it. She uses it and steals it from me and stuff. I kind of like that. So it's like kind of like when she wears my white shirt, I'm just kidding. But I do like how it do like how this thing works, and I do think I want to get one of those jig titanium, and I've seen it in the all black and in the raw titanium, and I gotta say I would much prefer it in the silver or the raw titanium. The Bastinelli Shadow Flipper is a 3.75, somewhat similar. Oh yes, I do know what you're talking about. It's made by Fox, right? Oh wait, CF on one side, tie on the other. White Mountain Knives has a few available. I think I know which one I think I know which one that is. And if not, that doesn't make for a panic attack. Nick EDCer says, carrying the giant mouse Nazca. I love the shape of that. I'm glad they made it the size they did because I'm not on the hook to buy it. The Chavez 229, newly acquired. Very nice. I've been eyeing up the Chavez knives. The street Tonto, is that what it's called? Looks awesome. Aberdeen Blades, good to have you with us. Aberdeen got the Kaiser Drop Bear in the podcast today. Yeah, I mean in the pocket today. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. That's the new Kaiser, and it's their first attempt at the they're calling it the clutch lock, but the axis lock, and it looks cool. And they're inverting their Omega locks or their Omega springs, and they have some sort of system set up in there so that you can adjust the tension of those springs, thereby adjusting the tension of the pull, or thereby adjusting the pull on the axis lock pullback thingy dingy right here, like this thing here. Okay. That's my technical explanation. 9198 David. Yes, my XM24 is the new Bowie. So you have that beautiful, flawless action from the whatchamacallit, the bearings. We have Choir Boys Cutlery with us. Good to have you here, sir. Fellas, he says. Oh man, I love your knife collection. I do. All those Bowies, all those big, awesome Bowies. I love it. What's up, guys? He says, well, how you doing, sir? It's great to have you with us. This Old Sword Blade Review says, still the TKL Guardian Tonto with the 3 edges. Well, that's a Tonto, huh? If that's a Tonto, well, that's got to be reverse. And you know that those don't exist. There's no such thing as a reverse Tonto. It's just a Warncliffe. Bob, I sent you some pics of the 8020 on Instagram. Oh, cool. All right, I will definitely check it. I'm not sure if Jim can get into my my Instagram, but if he can, maybe he can put it up. Yes, the GEC. Well, yeah, I know he can get in. The GEC 29 has an awl. I love the awl. My very first knife, the one my grandpa gave me, it was a Camillus, scout knife with all the tools on it. It had an awl, and as a kid, I used that awl for everything, for all things. See that. Professor EDC, good to have you here with us, sir. Bob, Jim, Junkies. Hope you're all doing well. Finally, Thursday is here. Carried the Fire Tack and the JWK K9. God, love that Canine Jack. And the Fire Tack is cool too. You, Professor EDC, did you recently get the Evo? I love that knife. Loaned to me by Lefty, by Kev, and man, what a sweet thing. I saw it on your feed the other day. S60 per Joe. Good to have you with us, sir. Wait, Super Joe? Joe, good to have you with us. It takes two to Tonto, he says. Hey, that kind of humor is absolutely welcome here. I will have you know. I'm, since I've sort of given up and given in, my daughters call me cringy. They think my humor is cringy. That's the word. And the word cringy is cringy to me. I am just embracing it because my mind is not wide enough to handle jokes any more complex or sophisticated than a good dad joke. So should anyone who tells a joke that lasts longer than 30 seconds has lost my attention. So there you go. Q-Ball 981 says the jig tie penguins are so good. Yeah, they really do look good. Cold Steel, Airlight, Tonto, and Raja 3. Very nice. We have a Cold Steel aficionado. I never got the Raja 3. I have the Raja 2. It was a housewarming gift from my brother, who has given me so many of my coolest knives. And I always wanted a Raja 1, the full dress Raja with the polished G10 and the aluminum scales and same silhouette, but just a little fancier. And I always loved that look. That's why I ended up, even after I had the G10 XL and L Espadas, I went for the full dress when I could, because I just love the look of that. I wish I pulled one out tonight. D-Bass says, Bob or everyone, I was contemplating a 2.5 in 3V. I've never experienced 3V. Is it semi-stainless? What is a comparable steel? Overall thoughts of 3V. I would love someone else to chime in. I do know that 3V is highly prized for its toughness in fixed blade knives. And it's also, I think it's semi-corrosion resistance. Oh, okay. Yep. Pronounced super. Thank you, Super Joe. Appreciate it. So it's kind of a luxury steel, I would imagine, on a folder. But a good one on a hard use folder. We have a lot of very, very hard steels on our folders. Maybe having a tough steel on a hard use folder is the way to go. I don't know. I think someone else should chime in. I have experienced the exclusive Jock from Jock's Knives had one drop shipped to me. I checked it out, made a video, loved it, straight from Knife Center, and sent it on to him. But I did not do steel testing or anything like that. So but all that said, it was amazing and felt like almost a different knife from the regular 20.5. Having that full titanium setup just gave it a heft and a clack sound and feel and a strength feel that you can't get from light FRN. You just can't. Professor EDC said, yep, have the Evo 2 and just got the Gavco Tiger and the 520. Really nice. Someone's on a tear, and I love to hear it. I love to hear I'm not the only one. Hero Sticks, evening and cheers all. Well, Hero Sticks, as always, pleasure to have you with us. Carried the Christensen Knifeworks Maverick S. Woo! And the CRKT Minimalist. Hey, did you see that the CRKT Minimalist, you can get scales for the Minimalist that give you one finger choil right here for the forefinger, and then it widens out the handle almost like a strider, widens out the handle, so and pancakes around the tang and is seamless, so that you have a handle that actually looks like the strider handle instead of the very thin triple choil minimalist handle. And I saw that on, I think, just Blade HQ. Just look up, and it's Flytanium that's making them. And I believe it makes it slightly longer, so it's a little more hand filling. Great idea, great aftermarket idea for the minimalist, because they have so many models of it, and there's so many billions of them out there. Great idea. Knives Fast. KC says, I think the jigged penguins are the best there is. That is cool. The penguin I was just showing is new to me, and it is the most basic. And when I bought it, I was shocked to see how many other versions of it there are. And man, you can get it in any flavor you like. Super Joe says, I want the tall wear so bad. I do too. I don't know. I have a I have a large cold steel collection, an XL cold steel collection to beat the band. And for some reason, I had the 4-inch. And back when I was selling cold steels, I don't get rid of cold steels or Emersons now, and Hinderers apparently, because I won't sell those. But before, when I was getting rid of cold steels, I had the 4-inch Talwar and I got rid of it. And damn it, I want it back. And my brother has the XL Talwar, and I want the Talwar. I want it serrated. I want it as bad as can be. It's so beautiful, but I just haven't gotten it. I also want the Taipan. I've wanted the Taipan for over 20 years now, and I still haven't bought it. And right now they're making an inexpensive version and an expensive version. I just have to stop being so lazy and so cheap. I have to get off my ass and spend some money and get the stick man another fancy dinner. All right, Tizzle Bizzle 23. Good to have you here, Tizzle Bizzle. Blade HQ has a really cool best knife steel comparison. Oh, that's right. And charts, which has a detailed breakdown of several steels. That's right. That's a really good resource. And I mean this in no bad way, and somewhat pedestrian, meaning I can understand it, as opposed to going to Knife Steel Nerds, which I love. Laren Thomas is awesome. And he's a great guy and just a genius, super smart dude, especially when it comes to steel. And but I'm kind of useless on his website. I just trust that he's there and he's watching after us. Anyway, Kevin Moore says, "Oh, Kevin Moore, good to have you here with us, Kevin. Getting ready for tomorrow, dusting off your Hawaiian shirt. Good evening, my friends of all things pokey, pointy, and sharp." I added the pokey. Just felt like it. Felt it needed a third thing there, but it's good to have you here, man. Snagged a serrated Talwar today, says Berg Knife. Berg, good to have you here with us, Berg. Which Berg is that? Is that your last name, or are you from a Berg like Williamsburg or something like that? But congratulations on your purchase. Excellent choice. If you want to come on and join the conversation, go to theknifejunkie.com/join. Just aim the camera at yourself like this and come on and show me what you're carrying. And we'll talk. Another one that is unappreciated by me, but I pulled out recently for an episode of the supplemental, is the 110. What a great knife. What a great knife. Okay, if wishes were horses, then beggars would ride. For sure. We know that. But I wish that this were the same feel in hand while being much lighter and that you could drop it in your pocket without a slip or a clip, and it wouldn't orient itself east to west. So there are a lot of wishes I have around the 110. I just kind of wish it would fit into my lifestyle more, but it just doesn't. But the 112, its little brother, sits here on the desk and gets a lot of practical use. But the 110 is like every once in a while I'll put it on my belt for old time's sake. Not even old times that I've had, but just old time's sake in general. And, mow the lawn with the pouch on my belt and hope I get to use it, find an excuse to use it, cut back a vine or two, maybe turn the lawnmower upside down if it's been a few weeks to scrape out all the grass under there. But really, it's just, I don't know. It's an appreciated relic for me right now. And by relic, I do not in any way mean to put the knife to pasture. I just mean for how things are for me right now. I just can't carry this knife, but I love it. So anyway, Jim, quick on the draw with the buck 110. I love it. All right. See, this is what I say when I say Jim working his magic. He is working his magic. Kevin Moore says completely missed out on the Blade HQ Malibu drop today. You know who might have it is Blade Ops. Go check out Blade Ops. Cue Ball 981, 110, iconic. I agree. And when they make the lightweight versions and they make the really cheap, the $20 lightweight version with FRN, they keep the blade the same. But in all of the nicer lightweight versions of this, they change the blade. They make it a straight clip and it just doesn't look like the classic 110 blade, and I resent that. Just add thumb studs to my 110. Love it. Yeah, I got the thumb studs on this right here, the on the 112, and I love it too. The little quick stud. I don't think I should turn my I don't think I should turn my zero turn mower upside down. Oh man, I wish I had one of those. Okay, you'd be appalled at what I mow the grass with. I bought it 12 years ago, and it just won't stop. It just won't stop. And it also doesn't have a drivetrain. And when I got it, I was like, yeah, this will be great, I'll push it. And 12 years later, I'm like, God, why didn't I get a drivetrain? Like, because we have these 95-degree humid, days here, and I'm pushing that lawnmower. But when I'm done and I come in, makes me feel like I've done something. Weston Probst, I got the 110 Slim, not a classic, but lighter. So Weston, the 110 Slim does not have the curved clip. Am I correct? It's just got that straight clip. And, I'm sure it doesn't affect the cutting or anything, but I love the placement of the nail neck on this, and I love how it's sort of parallel to the swoop, the curved swoop of that clip. Cue ball brass is heavy. I know. My other 80 20.5 gained what feels like a pound with a set of goat brass scales. It is heavy. It is heavy. And then this also has that diamond wood, which is like well, I don't know if it's particle wood, but I think it's kind of like particle wood. So it adds up to be a pretty heavy recipe. Justin Belcher, good to have you here, Justin. You can wish the 110 into someone else's pocket. Believe me, it works for me. Justin, I can't do that. Justin. It's a cast member and a part of the knife family. I'm not going to say part of the family. That'd be a huge insult to my actual family, but it's part of the crew here. But I appreciate how you put that. Very, very diplomatically stated. Knives Fast says, I have an old camo buck light. Oh, those are cool, actually. And you could get a pink camo one at one time. And I kind of like pink knives. It's a 110 with the same blade and polymer handles. And a funny thing about that, because I had most recently a black one of those, and I gave it to a friend who was doing a lot of hiking. Great knife for that purpose, because it's got this big 3.75 inch capable clip point blade, but it's like 1,000 times lighter. And but an interesting thing right here, where the blade meets the where the blade meets the spring, there's like a hump there, and they don't buff it down or sand it down to make it smooth like this, because if they do, it'll melt the plastic of the handle, and the plastic of the handle obviously has to go on first. So they just kind of leave that little bump there. I just bought it after 25 years of pain with my last mower. 25 years. All right, so I got a good amount of time left. I got another 13 years to be pushing because I think it'll last that long. I even have it jury rigged for 2 years. Something happened with the throttle spring, so I just kind of use some paracord. That's kind of working. And it's not kind of working, it's working great, but it's held together literally with string and maybe some gum. Super Joe says, I used my buck 110 as currency once when hitchhiking. How cool. Yeah, I'd trade for a buck 110. Well, it depends on what it is, but yeah, I like that. That's a good story. And that sounds like it's from a Bob Dylan song or something. Anyway, Cue Ball 981 says diamond wood is infused with diamond wood is infused with epoxy. Very sense. Diamond billiards tables use it for their amazing product. Diamond wood is infused with epoxy. I don't know what that very sense means. I think that might be a misspelling. Diamond, very dense. Okay. Oh, that is a cool bit of information. Thank you, sir. But so it's epoxy infused, but is it particle wood, or is it just whatever kind of wood, but they epoxy it? If you know, let me know. If not, just tell me to look it up like we used to do. And when I was a kid, Dad, what did look it up in the in the encyclopedia or in the dictionary, or go to the library. You know, it's not like my dad was being a jerk, but he's being like, you know, you got to learn how to answer these questions for yourself. So maybe I need to just look up diamond wood. Mark Herrera says, I put a quick thumb stud on my QSP worker. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool knife too. It's a lock back, or it's a locking knife, right? But it looks kind of like it looks like it should be a slip joint, and it has a totally pointless blade. And by pointless, I mean free of point. It is a sheep's foot, I believe, that comes straight down in the front. Like you would really have to put it at a weird angle to get it to penetrate. I mow 1.75 acres. Oh man. So that's like, when I was growing up, that's about what I mowed about 1.5 acres but we had so many trees in the yard that we couldn't have a riding mower. So I had to do a push and go around all those damn trees. And I had a system at one point down where I would do all the trees first and then try and do as many straight lines as possible. But there was also a good deal of cinders and moss and crap because there was a lot of shade in the trees in the backyard, and it would, yeah, first world problems. My house is only on 0.2 acres. Yeah, I think ours is something like that, 0.33. That's called suburb living. I wouldn't mind cutting more grass because I don't mind cutting grass, and I would love to have a big yard. But you know, someday we'll move further out. I'll have a big knife shed where only things that happen in there are knife related, unless I say otherwise. Podcasting, making, obsessing, cleaning, sharpening, all of that. That would all happen right in there on my acreage in my thing. Jim just had the podcast apps. Don't forget that the regular show can be had via audio only. If you can't bear to stare at this anymore and you want to listen on the go, you can download it right there. All right, so I want to show off a couple of cool knives. Oh, hey, Professor, how's it going, sir?
What's up, Bob? How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I thought I'd drop by and say hello to a good friend, and
Oh man,
it's been quite a while. And thanks, he's always paying attention down in the comments. So, and glad to be that's Thursday. I love this show. I wait all week for. Really, I do.
Oh man, thank you. That's such a great compliment. I appreciate it, man. Actually, it's my favorite time of the week too. I wait for Thursday too because, excuse me, I love doing the other shows, but they require more. I don't know. I like to just hang out.
Yeah.
And talk with you all. Cue Ball says, yeah, the epoxy resin is what gives it the density. Super tough and resists impact very well. That's awesome, man. Hey, so, well, thank you for that info, by the way, on the diamond wood. Hey, Professor, what do you have going on right now? What is at the top of your mind in terms of knives, and what are you loving right now?
CKF.
Custom Knife Factory. Tell me about this.
You know, it's a very different profile and geometry, and I really love that about this knife. Of course, the ergos are fantastic. I use a size L glove, so for me it's just perfect. And the slicing capability of this thing is fantastic.
Yeah. Like I was just mentioning, I had one on loan, generously on loan at Kev of Lefty EDC, and he's put a lot of money in it after he bought it too, you know, clip and all that stuff. And not only is it okay, I think it's a very good looking knife. We'll get that out of the way. So besides it being gorgeous to look at, I was shocked at how thin the blade is for how much. You know, the hollow grind is very deep and it's very thin for a long portion of the blade. Like you could sharpen that up like halfway and you'd still have incredible cutting geometry.
Absolutely, and I just love the feel of it in hand, and the look of it. You know, I love all blades like we all do. I love the look of a more traditional drop point blade as much as anyone. But you know, when things like this come along that are out of the ordinary, and you just gotta, if it, you have no idea how much I fought uh, for this blade, and I did a big trade and with some cash in it, but I finally got it. You know,
Oh,
after
that's awesome, man.
of going after it, and I got it at a fair price. I mean, at very close to the original.
Oh,
So,
nice.
um,
Well,
and let me share with you just another geometry that I really liked, together with
ooh,
this Tiger, also custom knife factory. Man, this Tanto is freaking amazing. It's so nimble, you know.
yeah. That is beautiful. I've always loved Gavco's blades, and I can say from having the Evo on loan, the CKF build quality is insane. Is who makes them?
I heard, well, I read that recently they started working with Riyadh in some things, in some aspects, but not all.
Okay,
And so what I know is that they're made in Russia, and very recently they began working in some areas with Riyadh.
okay, yeah. This idea of having a knife, having the parts made somewhere else, and then bringing them into the country and assembling them there. I see I see the benefits. I don't know, and in another way, I kind of feel like, well, if you're gonna have the parts made over there, you may as well have them assemble it too. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not actually talking about CKF. I'm talking about a knife that Jim alerted me to, and it's a pretty cool knife. But I was kind of thinking about it, and the knife company boasts that it's American made, American assembled from
Mhm.
Chinese made parts, and I'm like, okay, like, okay. I'm not sure if that's something to boast about. You know what I mean?
But I try to look at it from every aspect. Sometimes I may be a bit too harsh, but I like to see things from a very realistic point of view. So as to, if it's business, it's business. And what's best for the company, I gotta understand that as a consumer and also as a business person. And so, but that gives me the info to have a more objective opinion about the whole process.
Yes.
I think.
And it also gives you a good idea as to whether you want to spend the money on something or not, depending.
Yeah.
D-Bass, look at this. D-Bass, thank you, sir. This is crazy. Thank you, sir. $20 super chat. I appreciate that. Appreciate that, man. Since it's been so long, Bob, I'm needing a gentleman knife salute with one of your beautiful fixies. Oh man. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I mean, I do have the, you know what? I can't resist. I've been thinking about this knife all day, and I showed it a bit ago, but I'll do it with the sub hilt fighter. This is the Hogtooth Knives sub hilt fighter. This is my 1/200 birthday knife from last year. Just the most amazing knife I have, and the second most prized knife in my collection. And man, I am eternally grateful for my folks who commissioned this from Matt Chase. So it is very, very, very special, and I appreciate this, D-Bass, and it's great to have you back. So I will salute you with this, sir. But before I draw this, let me just draw attention to how rather alluring this sheath is. Does that not look like a corset to you? To me, I see this and I'm like, I'm going to undress this. I'm going to unsheath this knife now. Something about this sheath is just so, besides the fact that Matt Chase looks like he's about as good at leather as he is at steel, but just a beautiful sheath. So I'm going to gently but firmly draw the blade from the sheath. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to show it under here for a second. This beautiful pattern weld Damascus blade that he made, and he kind of photographed the process, which was so cool. That's 15N20, or no, it's 1095 and 15N20, and double-edged, hollow ground, double-edged all the way. This is a sub-hilt fighter, Loveless style. Bob Loveless was a knife maker after whom many patterns have been maintained. Like, he was the first one to come up with this sub-hilt thing, and had that stag handle and the whole thing made, and it's amazing. So here you go, sir. Thank you, D-Bass. I know you've seen this knife before, but it is very special to me, and it's great to have you back. So thank you, sir. There you go. That is for you. Thank you, D-Bass. As always, a pleasure. Okay. So, Professor, I was going to ask you, do you know anything about Vosteed knives? Have you experienced the Vosteed knives?
I haven't experienced. I've heard of them. And just looking at your knife, because I really like your knife. This is a Mexican custom maker.
Ooh.
And this is unknown as I'm about to review a pretty big package of knives that was sent to me.
KC, great to have you here, man. Excuse me one second, Professor. KC, good to have you. Always a pleasure talking with you, man. Have a good one. And again, congratulations, sir.
Bye,
okay.
KC.
Oh, Weston says some countries require knives be shipped unassembled. That's right. I've heard that. I wasn't even thinking of that, Weston. Thank you. Good point. So show this. This reminds me of a War Dog a little bit. You know War Dog knives? I think he's French, but man, that is beautiful. That is stunning.
Can you see the Sanmai?
The Hamon? I can see. Yeah. And show me those. Show me the handle. The sub-hilt handle is so nice. How does it feel gripped in hand?
It's small for me, so it leaves the totally out. So it's kind of uncomfortable. The other three fingers feel fantastic, really. If it was, if I had that small half an
or you could just remove your pinky and then it would be just fine. That's always an option. Mark Herrera says, Bob, wait, is he? Wait, sorry. Let me start this over again. Bob, have you had a VC Edge interface in yet? No, I have not. I don't even know what the hell that is, Mark.
Oh, but you gotta check out Dirk Werning. He has two VC Edges. One, I think it's a normal one, and the other one is a custom that he worked with. I forget the name of the knife maker, but carbon fiber.
Oh
blade.
Yes, okay, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about because I follow Dirk pretty close. Yes, that is cool, and no, I have not experienced that yet. And actually, Cue Ball says, have you checked out the Gail Bradley Bowie fixed yet? No, I have not. I do like I do like Spyderco's fixed blades. I have a couple that have been gifts. So I never think to buy their fixed blades, except they're more combative ones, like the Ronin and the other the Street Bowie. But no, I have not checked out that Gail Bradley. Oh, Cue Ball. Thank you, sir. Bob, I need to attend more of your live streams. Such a professional, yet at the same time personable production. Thank you. Awkward job. Thank you, man. Awesome, not awkward. Oh, I would take awkward. That works. All right, sir. Well, that means you get a salute. Let's see. What should it be with? Because that was quite a compliment, and I really appreciate that. I think I'm going to go with the V44 Bowie. Well, wait, actually, since we had a big gnarly clip point just now. Let's go with something more discreet and possibly more deadly. Okay, so we're going to go with this. This is the Spartan Blades Harzy dagger. I think I may have saluted with this last week, but hey, man, you know, it's special, and I've been handling it all week. I love this thing. Designed by Bill Harzy, one of the greatest designers of knives of all time. I feel like I can spot a Bill Harzy design every time. And I don't know if I don't know if that was the case with this dagger, is what I'm getting at. But I love his work, and he's a cool guy. This right here is, of course, a sort of modern take on the Fairbairn Sykes, as filtered through the mid 70s Gerber Mark II and some other famous daggers, and he did all the things right. It's not too long. It's a 6.5. Wait, what is this? Yeah, it's a 6-inch blade, hollow ground, so you can get some decent slashing out of this, but incredible piercing and forward-facing quillions, super ergonomic handle with a pinch point here, jimped pinch point, and just an incredible knife that I lucked out on getting. This was kind of like your Evo, Doc. I mean, Professor, I wanted one of these so badly, and I found it was one of those. I've had a couple of occasions like this where I will say, I'm going to log on to Blade Forums, and if there's a Spartan dagger for sale, I'm buying it. I don't care how much it was. And I went on, and there was, and I was like, oh shit, I'm on the hook. And actually, but it was a price that made sense. I'm not going to say it was inexpensive, but it was a price.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, you know, I feel weird saying thank you because I didn't design it. I just found it, but thanks, man.
Enough to and have the eye, you know, and the taste, because it's something that you have developed, and you were able to get it. So
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you, and I thank you, Cueball981, for your super chat. It's really appreciated. Here you go. This is for you, sir. Thank you. And you know, as Dave, this old sword blade reviews knows, when I do this is a Kali salute. So that's the only way I know how to salute with a knife. And there it is. I appreciate it, Cue Ball. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Most likely a gentleman. You know, I can't see you, of course, but so Professor, I got to show you something cool. If you're willing to see something cool, I got to show you. Do you know Tier 1 gear reviews? Do you follow Tier 1 gear reviews? Well, I'm D-Bass says, thank you, Bob. I'm honored. You couldn't have picked a better knife. Such a beauty. Well, thank you. I'm glad I picked the right one. That is a sweet one. So I have the good fortune of having 3 of Justin's knives. Tier 1 Gear Reviews has designed a really sweet knife and had Old Squirrel Knives make them, a custom knife maker, and then he had Guster Leather do some really innovative and cool leather sheaths for him. So let me show these off to you real quick. This one does have a ring, so I would get one without a ring personally, but it's a cool option. Oh, Q-Ball says Vosteed are made by Kaiser. Super action. Love the Bellamy. Me too. And I just got the Nightshade, and it's killer. We'll take a look at that in a sec. But look at this here. I'll use this middle one as an example. He calls these the scythe. You know, and it's a little Pical style self-defense knife. In a very classy format. He's got this nice marbled carbon fiber here on the handle. It's contoured Coke bottle style, actually inverse Coke bottle, wasp waisted, I guess you would call it. And it fits in hand like this. And you've got 2 sharp edges. And it's going to be. What's that? Say that one more time.
That's an aggressive little thing, and I like
it. Is this is one that is going to be hard to say to the police officer, it's for work, and he'll be like, yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, right.
But check this out. Look at these sheaths here. I'll use this one because of the red. It might make it easier to see. Um, but beautiful leather sheath with red stitching, and this sort of red, I don't know, textured leather here, holding the ulti clip so you could flip it around. But it strikes me that the profile of the sheath not only is to accommodate the shape of the blade, but it's also to fit inside a standard sort of jeans pocket and sort of fill it up. It looks like to me, and I'm not sure if that's the case, but you know, with the curve of that, and you drop this in the pocket and have the ulti clip, it
Yeah.
just seems like it's contoured for pocket carry. They do also come with Kydex, which is what I would no doubt carry it in. Though I love this sheath, I think it's beautiful. I know that I would want to carry this in a more discreet fashion. But isn't that a pretty cool knife?
And you loved Picals, right?
I do love Picals, and actually, this one is my pick of the litter because I also love the Tsukamaki wraps. You know, like the Japanese handles.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Pical for their frankly, for their practicality, but also I think they're beautiful. I really do. It's an acquired taste aesthetically. It took me a minute. I always thought they looked weird and they didn't make sense to me. And then I sort of just really was taken in by Ed Calderon's stories and other the guy who invented the clinch pick and others talking about the usefulness of reorienting that edge.
But isn't that interesting? What you just mentioned is and what we were talking about is that acquired taste. You know, there are things out there that I might have never thought of buying, and I ended up buying, and then I ended up loving. Such was the case of the Sebenza. The Sebenza I always had curiosity because being one of the three big ones, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I was like, that was like the big first or second knife of that range, that price range I bought, and I was like testing it. You know, when it arrived, I literally I sat down, put it on my desk, and okay, show me.
Yeah. Right, like it's gonna get up and start dancing for you.
And
He gets up like, well, my name's Sebenza. That means work. What kind of work do we have to do? All right, now, okay, I see.
it's a process. It's a process. It's a learning curve,
Yeah.
and that acquired taste. And it's the most recent video I talked about the areas, the König areas, and I had that knife and I had to let it go because there was no click. You know, this I.
Mm-hmm.
It is the second time that I've had the knife. This time was mine. The first one was a loan, and I spent a month with the Aries, and I love the design and I love the knife. It really is a fantastic work of engineering and craftsmanship, but we did not make click. We didn't have chemistry, you know.
Yep.
I talked about it, and I got a lot of comments on that because, well, I'm a bit older, and a lot of people, we're both around the same age.
Yeah.
You and I mean.
Yeah.
And I mentioned a few things of how back in my day, we would go out with a girl and get to know her, and you know, spend long evenings having wonderful conversations, and you know, setting a rhythm between two people. And that is something I value a lot in my life in general. Whether you talk about a pet, whether you talk about a good knife or whatever. And it's something that we sometimes forget, and we just want what's the hype, and we really don't get into valuing what's in front of us. In my collection, I keep certain knives that are, if we talked about them, they might be old, or they might look old,
Mhm.
um, but they are wonderful tools. And um, yeah, I may be the proud owner of an Evo, and I love it. But hey, this is something
Yeah.
worth my money and worth the time of using it and enjoying it.
Well, it's like I was just talking about the 110. It's kind of the same thing. It could have stopped here. And I'm not saying I would want that. I'm certainly happy with where we are with the knife world, but it could have stopped here
Yeah.
and people would have made do. And this would have been an awesome, would have always been, oh, you need a locking folding knife. Oh, yes, there is one. And it's called the Buck 110. And we would have been fine. But we have this variety it's intoxicating. And that idea of the click is interesting because I had the same experience with my Sebenza. I got it kind of almost out of curiosity and obligation, and then it took me a while to bond with it. And now I absolutely am attached to it. With the Koenig Arius, I always thought it was, and this is very unpopular, but I always thought it was kind of ugly. Like it just does not appeal to me. But then when I experienced it and got a chance to handle one, it totally changed my view of it. It became a more good-looking knife. Like when you meet someone who she might not be the most gorgeous person you've seen, but she makes you laugh, and all of a sudden the way she looks to you changes because she has this other quality.
Chemistry, right?
Yeah, chemistry. So that was when I handled the Koenig Arius. I was like, I totally get it. I totally get it. And I would be a happy man to have one, but there's no way. Like there are many other knives I would spend Koenig Arius money on before I would on that. So that's one of those knives that I would love to find, while I'm hiking in the woods. But uh, and that is in no way a diss, because I think what what Bill Koenig has done with that TJ Schwartz design is amazing. He's built himself a little knife empire and endless reputation for being one of the, like, his generation's best. And so but there's not the click.
Yeah,
I could click with the Goblin. His other design. That design is really cool to me. But what a difference handling the knife makes. What a difference. I mean, talk about it. It's got a very similar blade to that Evo in terms of how thin and deeply hollow ground it is.
absolutely. And well, it happened the same thing. Well, I ended up loving it, of course.
Yeah.
But also with another knife from Dirk. And, one of those that I thought in the past, I would have thought, oh no, I'm not going to buy one of those. And then
Ooh.
came the Bodega.
I like that so much, man.
When
That's
I put this in hand, man, it's so comfortable, so comfortable. And the weight of it, I love the bug out because its main characteristic is that it's so light and practical in size, and I love that.
yeah.
But I cannot stay away from this type of knives.
That's beautiful. Is that the full size 4-inch blade there?
Yeah.
And that's a Riot made, right?
Yep.
Oh, God, man. That's that needs to get on my list now. Just looking at this, I so dig it. I actually talked with Todd Begg at Blade Show for. I had a chance where no one else was around him, and we talked for a good 10 minutes. And a very interesting guy. I didn't know he was a pretty hardcore operator in his day, in special forces kind of stuff, and I didn't know that. and a very nice guy. He reminded me of a lion. He's got like a big mane of hair, and he's like a big giant guy. It was so cool to meet him and handle his knives. And he had the War Junkie series, his fixed blades, and just talking about them. And he has one in his War Junkie series that's his take on the Mac V-Sog, the classic Mac V-Sog Bowie. That double peaked Bowie that was used first in Vietnam. And that's how we got on the subject of he used to train indigenous soldiers and do all sorts of spooky stuff. So it's kind of cool to meet. So I want to have him on the show and talk all about that stuff. But it's cool to meet people and find out what led to them making these cool things.
Absolutely. The person, it's so important at times. Again, getting to know something and establishing a rhythm,
Yeah.
Getting to know the maker behind the blade is something that I appreciate a lot. And that sometimes it might determine if I buy something or if I don't,
Yeah.
But it's just, and with the recommendation of Dirk, how can I go wrong with?
Oh yeah.
And Dirk is dangerous. I gotta take my space because all his knives are fantastic.
Yeah, he's dangerous on a couple of dimensions because he also collects watches.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't even get me there.
Yeah. I could go down that rabbit hole if I could, I would. So I'm glad I can't, I guess. Because my kids like to eat food. It turns out so.
But I'm just happy with knives and well, that's one of the things that I try to communicate here in Spanish at least is, and in the Sunday series, the Bladeosophy also, appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
Whether it's a $20 knife, whether it's and I love my Rat 1.
Oh yeah.
I still have it and I still use it. Whether it's that or an Opinel or a custom knife, enjoy it.
Yes.
Appreciate it. It's the same with family, right? Appreciate what you have while you have it, because it'll get to the point that we are going to have to part at some time, at some point, whether we like it or not. It's just nature, right?
And when you do mathematics, it makes it worse when you say when you look at how often you see family members, for instance, that you live far away from. How many times do you see them a year? How many more years is it likely to expect that you're both going to be alive? So how many times do I have to see this person again? I hate doing that. I mean, sometimes I do, and it breaks my heart, but that's how life is, especially today where we kind of are spread out. Anyway, I want to take this opportunity because you're talking about appreciating what you have, and here in the States, I am actually really appreciating what we have in my state of Virginia. We can now, thanks to Doug Ritter and Knife Rights, we can now carry automatic knives. We can carry them, we can sell them, we can buy them. We can do all those things, manufacture them here, and it's thanks to Doug Ritter and Knife Rights. So I just want to say thank you, Doug, and definitely everyone, if you have the means, they really need support this year. Go over to Knife Rights. They have the Ultimate Steel not sweepstakes, but it's their fundraising event, and you get all sorts of, like, you donate and you get prizes, and at certain levels you can pick your prize, and they still have tons of custom knives to choose from. These are some of the other donation levels. You get knives. There's all sorts of cool stuff, and so they have this tail end drawing. So if you donate money, they have all these prizes that you could be picked to win. And if you are picked to win, and your chances are somewhat good, actually, because they have so many knife makers and so many people donating stuff as prizes, that they have tons of like really high-end prizes. So your chances are really good of winning. You get to choose. So check it out. And it's not just knives. They also have like safari packages and optics for guns and other things. So so definitely go over it. You double your chance to win one of these cool, I was gonna say, well, one of these cool prizes. So definitely go check it out. Thank you again to Doug Ritter. And he's actually the guy. 11 more days and 3 hours and 23 minutes and 3 seconds left in this. So be sure to do that in the next 11 days, 3 hours, 22 minutes, and 56 seconds. We will be doing that here with for the Knife Junkie podcast and see what we win. That could be awesome. But do you have a knife community where you are in Mexico? I mean, do you have people you get together with?
Well, here once a year we have a kind of a blade show that has recently begun 3 years ago, and I was in the last one. I participated in the last one, and it's small, it's barely starting, but you gotta help out in any way possible so the community grows, and it grows in positive ways.
Yeah.
And but I'm very glad and that I don't know if you know, but I've been talking to Ben, and we got to an agreement, and I was officially named the distributor for Jack Wolf knives for Mexico and Latin America.
So cool.
So I'm very excited about that.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. And I don't think you could be working with a better and more stand-up guy and a guy who wants to succeed. I mean, man, he is doing it right. He is doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when because we also have very similar ethics and principles, and so when you're able to work with someone like that, that understanding, that flow is smoother, and things run better. So it's awesome to be working with Ben in that sense. Yeah, and I love the knives, of course. First of all, as a consumer, I love the knives.
Oh God, here I'm gonna show you mine. What covers did you get? Is that
marbled?
Oh, I didn't even know that there was marbled carbon fiber for this one. That's sweet, man. So beautiful. This blade is crazy. It's so tall and hollow and sharp and thin.
Oh, I love it.
I can't. Everyone that comes out, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite.
Yeah, me too. And it has become, it's dangerous again because it has become a thing. Every month I'm waiting I'm waiting for the tube, the box, the tube, the pug, the
cleaning cloth and all the,
and of course the blade. So it's become a thing, really.
Yeah, the ergonomics on that knife are incredible.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I was lucky enough to buy a pena, a dogleg pena, so I can compare and have cross references to one another and for my reviews. But I really, really enjoy this profile of.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I gotta say, I never liked the look of the dog leg. And now just having my first one in hand, I'm like, oh, I get it. It's that feel. It's the ergonomics. It's so nice. Q-Ball says, Mattisfaction and I are planning to interview Ben. He's here in the Phoenix area. Oh yeah. He's awesome. Q-Ball, were you with us when he would come on here to as he was gathering the idea and coming up with it? It was very interesting. He's a great he's a great dude to talk to.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
I think genuine article, like you were saying, and also he's got a deep bench of his own custom slip joints that are just beautiful. Some of them are custom, some of them are very hard to get production, like GECs and that kind of stuff. But his own personal collection is incredible, and a lot of those knives are what he drew inspiration from. Jared convinced me to join, and I'm glad that I did. Oh, cool, man. That's awesome. Justice Crusade, good to have. Oh, look at that. That is nice. Good to have you with us, Justice. Hi, I'm the guy who asked for a collection video of Wingard wearables. Well, you inspired me, sir. I really want to see some more field testing with the tomahawks. I have an Empress and a back ripper, and I'm hooked. Beautiful blade. So you saw my collection video, and then you saw the the what's the word? God, I'm losing it. Oh, the watermelon video. I can't wait to get more, and I will do more. You know what I want to do, actually, Professor? I want to do some meat cut tests, and not too many people do them. I know a couple of people who do, but they've fallen out of favor because a lot of people just think of knives as tools strictly, but they're also tools for conflict. So I want to see, like, for instance, these pecals. I want to see what they do to a pork roast, wrapped around a stick and covered in denim. Not even for the. I know that there will be something in me that will enjoy it and get a thrill out of it, but I'm not doing it for the lurid effect or the lurid pleasure of it. I really. It is sobering and eye-opening and important to every once in a while take a small knife, say this little almost 3-inch knife, and see what kind of damage it can do. It's extreme. And then you take something that's meant for it, that's optimized for it, and it's scary. This new Vosteed, this is actually a state of the collection knife. This is the Vosteed Nightshade. It came out in a premium version originally, and a number of videos out there positively reviewed it. And now it's out in this G10 version, and I think it's awesome. And you look at it, and it's definitely a drop point utility knife. It's got a very interesting profile. It reminds me of the Bob Lum Chinese knife from Spyderco, and they make it like a utility knife with that downward angle, so you can use the tip a lot. But I look at this thing, and it's 3¼ inches. It's got that downward angle. It's like a little barong or a little kukri. I think this little innocent looking 3¼ inch blade could be utterly nasty. Yeah, exactly. That, yes, like that kukri there.
It's a small kukri.
Yeah. So I guess basically, wait. Hold that up again. Let me see the handle. Can I see the pommel of the handle? Huh, that's interesting. That reminds me of.
This is copper and wood. I don't remember what wood it is. I think it's I can't remember. But
see, that to me looks like a rehandle, like this Filipino garab knife has. This was not the original handle. It looks like a piece of furniture that someone put on there. It's perfectly round, so it's not the best, but it kind of reminded me of that when you pulled that out. So.
Well, this was my one of my dogs, and I don't know how she cut the mouth, but I left the knife out, and she just took it and played with it, and as you can see, teeth. It's a nice memento of my dog. Here.
Oh man.
And it's a custom, but it's I wanted to share this with you because it comes.
Ooh, that is cool.
You have both in this sheath, and you can't take out the big one. You can't unless you take out the small one.
Oh. It's like
So
a lock almost.
exactly. So you take out the small cookery, and then you can take out the big one.
Wow. God, that's pretty nasty looking blade, man. So who made this?
This is from a Mexican knife maker named Javier Brito.
Javier Brito.
Javier Brito, and he's a traditional knife maker. You know, he gathers train tracks and all that stuff and makes.
Oh,
This is made from train tracks.
no way. And train tracks are mild steel that are work hardened just from the weight and friction of trains rolling over them. That's how all those railroad tracks got hardened. It's work hardening. It's not heat treating. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of double
Yeah.
hard, double sole. Can you put that comment back up, Jim?
And it's, well, I have used it. Of course, this is fantastic for work.
Oh yeah.
Cutting grass, tall grasses. This is fantastic.
Oh yeah, delimbing a tree. Yeah, I mean you could do a lot with that.
I love this thing, and the ergos, man. The motion is just. And you talking talking about meat, cutting meat, and that. This is another interesting one to cercenate a piece of a tree.
Yes. Yeah, so I would do that. I mean, I've been saying for years I'm going to get pork and do that. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how. Yeah, I would have to do it kind of in secret and then cook something immediately afterward because I don't know how my wife would feel about eating pork that had just been assassinated in our backyard. So what do you have coming up in the near future, Professor? Do you have anything cool coming in knife wise, or what's in the offing for you?
Right now, I have to keep the rotation going. You know, I can't keep all the knives that I sometimes I'm able to acquire.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to make a choice between the Tiger, the F3, the Curtis F3, and the 520. So as to, I'm going to keep one, and then the other ones are going to go for sale along with a few other things. And I'm trying to mixing it up. You know, I've gotten a good response from people when I go into certain topics and going into these topics in a deeper manner. And it's I got a comment precisely. He said it's like Bladosophy all the week. And the Bladosophy is the program
Sunday.
on
Sunday.
And that's, I really like that. I really like that because I enjoy reading, I enjoy thinking, and when I try to mix blades and my everyday philosophy of life, good things come out, and makes me think about things and enjoy my knives even more.
Yeah, and when you take something like knives or whatever it is, and you focus your attention on that, and you start to see everything else through that filter. Maybe you look at history through that filter. That's how I learned about what I know about world history, was through studying art history. Oh, this is when that happened. Oh, this is what was happening during the French Revolution. I didn't know that, but now that I'm studying this painting, now I know. Well, you can kind of do the same thing with anything, but knives, you approach everything through that filter, through that lens, and you can learn a lot. You know how they say restraining yourself is what leads to freedom. In a sense, when you restrain yourself creatively in a project, for instance, and you're forced to work within tight confines, well, that's when your inventiveness really comes out. Please don't forget to hit that like button, says Cue Ball in all caps. So I appreciate that. He's yelling it at you. Oh, I get it. Cue Ball. That's why you knew about Diamondwood. I get it. I'm a little slow on the uptake.
And
Speaking,
funny that you mention
but
it, because I also studied appreciation of art and history of art, and it's something that, as a collector, um, it is deeply linked.
oh
And
yeah,
when you start recognizing different things that have in common, you go. It's like going into that rabbit hole, and you come to this big crossroads, and I love that.
uh, EDC Oz says, hello, all. Was driving in traffic listening to the smooth sounds of the Knife Junkie broadcast. I love that. Thanks, Bob, Jim, and Professor. Cheers. Cheers to you, EDC Oz. Hopefully, you're out of that traffic now and ready to sit down on the couch and crack open a cool one of whatever you like to drink. So there you have it. Thanks for joining us. There was one other thing I was going to ask you, Professor, but it seems to be escaping me. But anyway, yeah, I'm loving the bladeosophy. I like that you approach this as it's not just about acquiring these things that we're obsessed with. It's not just talking about the latest and greatest and newest things, but why and why is this such an important part of our lives and stuff. That I appreciate, because that's what we're all. That's kind of what I always kind of want to talk about anyway. It's like, there's only so long you can talk about lockup. And then at some point you got to talk about, why are we talking about lockup? Why is this so damn important? And it is, and we find it so, but why? Hey,
You start
CPM, good to have you.
you start discovering things as you will go along. I mean, I was in the beginning, I was just a user, and I just wanted a good blade, to use in my everyday tasks, and then I got hooked, as most of us, but then I started to recognize certain psychological patterns, that why I was doing certain things, and I related that to the search for Excalibur, and this
Yeah.
became the Hobbit,
Yeah. Yes.
and I
Oh,
love that. So
me too. And it becomes a sort of second nature. I I'm sitting here looking at you, of course, and talking with you, but I'm also looking at the knives over your shoulder, and I can identify them. I can go left to right and identify each one, I think. Got that real steel on the left, and then you got the Becker 40, and you got the shenanigan there, and then can't tell what that thing is, but then you got a Sage, and then you got a Recon. Oh my God, dude, that's cool. I feel like you can identify knives the way you can identify cars on the street. It's just like, a mile away, that's a Mercedes. You just know. So
yeah.
I'm looking here. I see these tiny little shapes. I'm like, that looks like a Recon 1.
Oh, let me show you this.
Ah,
This these are very special pieces, because they are antiques, and these are swords,
oh,
ancient swords from African tribes.
yes.
They
Yes,
are
those are cool.
they are made out of wood, and they symbolize the principle of masculinity and the feminine.
I have seen things like this. I think I have something like this from back in the day when my parents first went to Africa, and they always had to bring back, but the one, the dark, like these look real. It looks like what my folks got me were something you would get for a little kid, but the concept is there with that beautiful sculpture on the pommel and a hard wood blade. That's cool.
Yeah, this was a gift. This was a gift, and I really, really love them.
Well, I have a salute to give. EDC Oz just gave a super chat, just offered up a super chat, which I really appreciate. And he made a special request. Randall made, please. Well, it just so happens I got one out. I hope you like this one. This is the number 16 special fighter, and that means it is has the 16 handle, which is similar to the 14 with its finger grooves, but the 16 Randall made 16 is a dive knife. This does not have the dive blade. It has the number 1 fighter blade on it with the swedge sharpened, and it's just incredible. I love this knife, and I'm glad I had the gumption to buy it when it was available. I wouldn't right now, so I'm glad I did it when I did it. Such a beautiful knife. So this one is for you, EDC Oz, with great appreciation and respect. I salute you with this beautiful Randall. I'm still sitting here staring at my own knife on my own screen. So here it is. I just wanted to mention one quick thing, little note of interest. I'm going back to the camera here. These knives, many of the Randall made knives, especially the ones with this sort of handle setup, have a sort of half tang. That it's a full tang. It comes all the way down here, but it's slotted so that you cannot see the tang on that side, but it's glued in here, and then its mechanical fixture is here and here. So just a really kind of cool way to construct it. It's a way they've been doing it for a long time. And 440 stainless steel, made it through World War II, so it'll work for me. All right, here you go. Thank you, EDC Oz. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. And thanks for the request. If you ever do a super chat, feel free to request a blade. And if it's within reach, or even if it isn't, it takes me 2 seconds to get to the knife cabinet. Absolutely a stunner, says EDC Oz. Well, EDC Oz, I wish you one in your future. And they are amazing. And you can find them used. Not like they're inexpensive, but when I went to Blade Show and saw how many Randalls are actually out there that you can get, it gave me hope that I might have more in my collection one day. But love the artifacts, he says, about your African knives, I think. All righty, my good friend. I think that's it for this evening. Thank you so much for coming on, man, and talking. I really appreciate it.
I'd like to copy you for a moment. And,
yeah.
In this thing that this topic that we were talking about appreciating, I appreciate you and Jim and doing this show. And so this time I'm gonna salute you, Bob and Jim, with custom cookery from Mexico.
Oh man, thank you. That it accepted wholeheartedly. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for what you guys do. I really appreciate it and enjoy it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And right back at you, Professor EDC. We need you there, philosophizing, if that's a word. Alrighty, sir. Thank you. Q-Ball says, Bob just purchased the PM2 in Crewwear, my first in that steel from your site. Great price. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I have one Crewwear blade, and it's my SPK Shark. Awesome stream as usual. Night, everybody, says Chris. Good night, Blade Ogre. Always a pleasure to have you here, sir. Thank you. And Professor EDC, I thank you, sir, for joining us. Coming up on Sunday, be sure to join us where we catch up with Dave of This Old Sword Blade Reviews and check in with his philosophy on blades and his ever-growing knife collection. He's got some incredible insights and some incredible sub collections in his giant, awesome, sprawling collection. So join us for our good friend Dave on Sunday, and then of course Wednesday for the midweek supplemental. And if you want to listen to the show and take it on the go, you can download it from these podcast apps right over here, and just listen. Do it at your leisure. All right, we will see you next week. For Jim, working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying thank you so much for watching and hanging out and for your support. And until next time, please don't take dull for an answer.